theposhlifestyle.com. So upgrade your lifestyle with The Posh Lifestyle and love what you do.
Let me tell you about a news site that carries the news that you would want to know. News that's not the same as the rest of lamestream media, but a site that lets you know about the most important news on health, economics, tech, entertainment, science, food, sports, world news, positive living, paradigm shift, and a lot more. Go to theposhreportonline.co.
To know who you are, you have to know where you come from. Honor and respect those who help pave the way, working hard, sacrificing, saving, and building a future for you and your family. We are One United Bank, America's largest black-owned bank, with offices in Boston, Los Angeles, and Miami. We invite you to join our effort in building economic power in America by opening an account at www.oneunited.com. Join the movement today and make your money matter for you and generations to come.
Get ready, New Orleans. It's time for Big Q and the Guys. Get ready, New Orleans. It's time for the Sports Coma with Big Q and the Guys, telling you everything you need to know about the Saints, Pelicans, and a whole lot more.
Welcome to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the Guys. 2-hour show. First hour we covered the Saints. Second hour of this hour, we're going to be talking about them New Orleans Pelicans. That's right, the Pelicans with their same facility rivals still in the show. Nothing but great things happening in the city of New Orleans football-wise, and the Pelicans trying to suck up some of that good mojo. They're on a 2-game winning streak, currently 17-16 right now, against beating the Heat and the Magic in back-to-back affairs as they line up on Wednesday to take on the New Jersey Nets. Yeah, I hope so. Looking at the Wizards, we're gonna break down the last few games, the last 3 games, and preview the Nets game. Of course, looking at the Wizards game, the Pelicans came into a game. They dropped the 4. They started on a 4-game road trip. Started off against Denver. They lost the game to Denver. They say, okay, we're gonna travel to Washington and take on the Washington Wizards. Hey, we're gonna get them. Well, if you remember how lackadaisical the play was against Denver, we figured that they would actually step it up and play better and get ready for a talented team. Even though Washington record, they were only 2 games above 500. This is a very good team. They are. They're in my estimation, they're probably the 4th best team in the East. You know, and if they can get hot at the right time, depending on who they're playing, they are a dangerous matchup because they got guys that can bang down low, and then they're led by John Wall in the sharpshooting of Bradley Beal, who is one of those backcourts that we forget about, you know, as good as they are. We'll talk about guys like the Splash Brothers. We'll talk about guys like Damian Lillard and C.J. McCullough. We'll even talk about Harden and Chris Paul when they're together. But when it comes down, I think they're one of those backcourt guys, duos that are kind of forgotten about. But the Pelicans learned about them real quick as they came into this matchup. And they actually, Washington actually, it's kind of one of those unique situations. The Pelicans came out, they came out and got blew out the gate. 36-19 in just the first quarter. So they were nothing. Then they were able to come back and have a nice run where they were able to come back and win the second quarter 36-25, made it interesting. Then went down by 20-plus points in the third, and ultimately that ended the game for them. You can't be down by 15 to 20 points, get back in the game, and then drop out of the game by 15 to 20 points, and then expect to have another run to eventually clinch the game. Not good strategy if you're L Gentry. Hope you're not using that philosophy. The Pelicans.
Come on, guys, get down 20 so we can get motivated, and
we're gonna
come back and take it again.
We're gonna trick them. They're gonna make them think that we out. And when they put the backups in, we're gonna go on the run. This is the Pelicans shot 42% in this game. Washington was a flat 50% in the game. Both of them turned the ball over 16 times apiece. Of course, the Pelicans, world famous turnovers. They're one of the top offensive scoring teams in the league, but turned the ball over at a record pace.
Doing that.
I know they turned the ball 16, and then the thing about it is when they turn the ball over, and allow points off of turnovers at a ridiculous clip. 25 points off of 16 turnovers. Now get this. The Washington Wizards also turned the ball over 16 times, but only allowed 14 points off their turnovers. Pelicans allowed a full 11 points more off the turnovers because of that pathetic, craptastic transition defense that didn't look well against Washington. They got ran out of the gym. They shot 25% from downtown, 5 of 20. They stunk from beyond the three-point line. That is miserable. As the Wizards did shoot 14 of 35 for 40%, 15% more shooting, and 14 to 5 three-point shooting, DC. I'm surprised they ain't beat them by more than 10.
The Wizards are one of the best three-point defender teams in the league, so we do have to give them credit there. They have a lot of
So what should you do when they defend the three, DC?
Man. Huh?
What should you do if they defend the three well?
Well, you should attack the basket. You're supposed to dominate the paint.
Which points in the paint? The Pelicans won 48 to 44. There's not much advantage there. You win 4 points.
You had to get about 60.
Didn't happen, and they were not able. Of course, the Pelicans averaged at 25 assists a game. That was only 20, as the Wizards still had 29 assists. So they did. So what I'm pretty much saying is that the Pelicans really
a 3-point game, man, and that killed us.
That was when a team hit 14 3-pointers, you hit 5 3-pointers. You're not going to win that battle.
We only broke even with the turnovers as well. We can't win a 3-point game, so we would have to win turnovers, fast break, second chance points. And I don't think we dominated any of those categories.
Sure didn't. No, you didn't. Anthony Davis led the day with 37 points in this game. He showed up on 37 minutes. A point a minute pretty much is how it averages out. Somebody wanted to play. But Elvin Gentry, of course, that was kind of a brutal loss. But let's chime and see what Coach Gentry had to say about it. Here's Coach Elvin Gentry with his post-game after the Washington.
Well, I think what got us behind initially, before we talk about how we got back in it, what got us behind initially is that we had finishes at the basket that we didn't complete, and they ran out. Obviously, they're a good transition team. They put us on our heels and made baskets, and we got really behind. And then I thought that we locked in defensively and did a good job, especially in the second quarter, to get back in the game. But then we gave them separation again in the third. And, you may be able to do that one time in an NBA game where you're down, 20, 25 points and be able to work your way back, all the way to a tie, really. But you give them separation again, the chances are not very good that you're going to do that. And I thought, once again, we're kind of singing the same song every night. We look at our turnovers and, we have 16 for 25 points. It's hard to beat a team, especially of that caliber, if you're going to turn the ball over 16 times, because, some of those times you're putting the ball in John Wall's hand and you're not going to be able to contain him, especially when they're live turnovers. And he's either driving the ball to the basket or he's finding Bradley Beal or somebody else for an open shot. So I thought that was kind of the crux of the game right there, from the standpoint of you can't have 16 turnovers for 25 points against this team and expect to win. And we didn't shoot the ball exceptionally well tonight, so that added to the problems that we had. And I thought that they got into us some, and we weren't able to move freely offensively. But when we did a good job. But once again, if you're going to beat a team like that, especially on their home court, you can't do it for 20 minutes. You got to do it for 48.
When you do make that run, how much does it help to have two guys with that much size that can do pretty much anything on the floor? Does that wear teams down?
Obviously, it doesn't. It didn't tonight. So, I'm not sure the question that you're asking, but what I'm saying is that, we got back in the game and then we gave them separation again. So, for whatever reason, turning the ball over is not going to allow you to get back into a game when you're playing a team of that caliber, or any team really for that matter, when you're turning the ball over 16 times for 25 points. And then we didn't shoot the ball well, as I said. So you can do that one time, and I'll repeat it again. You can do it one time, but you're not going to do it 2 or 3 times in an NBA game against a quality team. So, they got separation again where they were up 20 points. It's almost impossible to then come back again.
Obviously, he played well, but the price tag on Anthony Davis in terms of wear and tear on that ankle and then that wrist he had looked at halftime?
I thought it was fine, and when we didn't feel like, we had one last little run and then they scored a couple of baskets and we took him out of the game. We weren't going to just have him out there to have him out there. I didn't think we had an opportunity at the 5-minute mark that we were going to win the game, so I took those guys out.
Tied at 61, and what were some of the things that didn't allow
That's Coach Alvin Gentry chiming in on it. And, of course, AD was banged up as well as he's working his way through these injuries. Heart of the champion, this guy wants to win. Going over a couple of news nuggets here. Washington scored 25 points off the 16 Pelican turnovers in the contest. New Orleans only held the lead once. They were up 2-0 at the beginning of the game. That's the last time they were seeded. Leading at 10-8 with 7 minutes remaining in the opener. Washington went on a 24-7 run to take a 19-point advantage with 1 minute and 24 seconds left in the quarter. Trailing 58-33 with 6 minutes remaining in the first half. New Orleans closed the first half outscoring Washington 22-3, opening the third quarter on a 6-0 run to tie the game at 61 with 10:21 remaining in the third. During the second quarter, New Orleans then were 19 of 22 from the free throw line during the run for New Orleans. After New Orleans tied the game at 61, Washington went on an offensive scoring 7 unanswered points and going to a 27-7 run to take another 20-point lead. This time with 51 seconds remaining in the third, which basically done the deal, finish out the game. New Orleans was held to just 5 of 15 shooting in the field in the third quarter, and that pretty much iced the game in that affair against Detroit. DC, quickly, what is your thoughts on this Wizards-Pelican
Where's
game?
what you're saying? You said Detroit.
Sorry, against the Wizards.
We played Detroit.
Right, against the Wizards.
I think it was a lackluster game, man. It's like the want-to wasn't there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think AD kind of said some comments that challenged his teammates. But AD seemed to me to be the only guy that really wanted it. DeMarcus Cousins as well. I don't know if they were just tired, but it just seemed like a very lackluster performance, man. And it's something I don't think we're going to see a constant repeat of with them playing a caliber team like Washington. Usually when they play the big teams, they don't always win, but you always see the energy and effort. And it was just kind of lacking out there tonight. And the lack of execution of what I know the game plan was, which should have been to get into the paint. You're playing the best, one of the best three-point defensive teams, so you're going to have to dominate the post.
That's absolutely the case. And
they didn't do that.
They did not do that. And they suffered it as they lost this game 116 to 106. And when we come back on the other side of the break, we'll finish up on hitting with the rest of these games. They also played against the Orlando Magic and the Miami Heat. We'll cover those games. We'll have interviews from Coach Al Gentry on those, and insight, stats, and more facts to cover the rest of those news and issues. So stick with us. You listen to the Sports Coma Pelican post-game report on the PRO Media Network.
In a world of corporate propaganda, support the true independents, telling it like it is with no teleprompter. Go to www.theposhlifestyle.com, life spelled Lyfe, and donate to keep independent media strong. Donate now.
What up, sports world? This Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And I'm here to tell you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. The Posh, P-O-S-H, life spelled with a Y-L-Y-F-E style.com. You can go there and get all of your natural and organic needs met. Herbs and supplements for all over the body, healing crystals, and beautiful jewelry, ionizers, alkalizers, and water filters. They take all of the fluoride and chlorine and all of the filth out of your water. They got personal products, natural soaps. They even got deodorant without aluminum in it that is known to cause cancer. Dig that. Also books and entertainment to educate yourself. And they have a lot of EMF protection and healing magnetics. Now, you know EMF, that helps. They have diodes you can place on your phone or on certain electrical gadgets that can neutralize the harmful EMF radiation. Dig that. All of that is on sale at theposhlifestyle.com. Dozens of products, easy to use website. I use it all the time. Very easy to use and very safe. Protected website. You can go there, feel safe and shop. I shop there all the time. You can go there and give us a donation. Anyway, you go check them out. The Posh Lifestyle. Go to theposhlifestyle.com. Check them out. Poshlifestyle.com. Check them out. Get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings, and potential moves. Unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
In today's world, children are bombarded with negativity on television, online, and at school. Our kids need to have a positive outlook on life and the world around them. I want to share with you a valuable resource you can use to bring positivity into your child's life. It's the new book, 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. This is a simple guide loaded with wonderful and inspirational affirmations designed to uplift young people's spirits. This positive and powerful children affirmational is chock full and loaded with wonderful inspirational sayings that will lift your child's self-image to whole new levels through the awesome power of spoken word. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image, from author and dad G.J. Barabino. Available on Amazon. Order a copy for yourself, your child's teachers, or anyone you know with children. 101 Powerful Children Affirmations, a guide to positive child self-image. Order your copy today.
Listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Best fucking sports podcast in the country.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma. Big Q and the guys. We talking Pelicans now, man. And one of the things we like to talk about dealing with the Pells, man, dealing with this experience, is that a lot of things, man, with the Pelicans have been seeming to going the wrong way as of late. But after this win, after this loss, should I say, to the Wizards, and another loss to the Denver Nuggets that preceded this game, man, wow. They dropped 2 in a row. They can't seem to put the pins down on Denver, a team they are better than, in my estimation. Washington is I think they are probably neck and neck with Washington in terms of talent, but they lost that game, which they had an opportunity to actually.
I disagree.
I think they are. I mean, Washington does have a few other pieces.
They have a lot more pieces than we do, man.
That's what I.
Bench. We don't.
I wouldn't say they have a complete bench, but they do have.
They got a lot more shooters.
They do. Everybody have more shooters, bro. I mean, everybody have better shoot. Everybody have better shoot. Let's just get that out in the open. Everybody have better shooters than the Pelicans.
We have pretty good shooters, man. I mean, we're a 40% 3-point shooting team this month. So I can't just discount act like.
Listen, it's an incredible honor to have had the opportunity to play.
That's how it looked coming into
to see that happen.
They have more shooters.
Again, so many people are a part of that. All the guys that blocked, all the guys that
we have. Our team is about 8 deep.
The issue is with the fact that you're abusing a lot of these talented players. You got to have a longer rotation to 8 players.
Right.
And I can understand that if you had issues with depth in terms of injuries, that you had to use what you had to use to get by, but that's not the issue here.
That's basically what's going on. I mean,
that is not the issue here, though.
We got 2 quality players that are injured, and possibly 3 because we don't know what the rookie has. That could be an 11-man rotation easy.
No, what I'm saying is, I understand where you're coming from, but what I'm saying is, you ain't gonna win a lot of games in this league if you have an 8-man rotation. Is what I'm telling you. That's ridiculous. You got to have at least a 9 to 10-man rotation, if that, maybe nine or better. You ain't gonna win in this league with 8 because you're gonna be abusing those players that are the talented players like Anthony Davis, who has a barrage of different injuries right now. We've been fortunate with DeMarcus Cousins to be healthy. We've been fortunate with Drew Holiday. Rajon Rondo had a few little nicks and they had to rest him. You had Tony Allen that were playing extended minutes. His body couldn't stand up to it. Jameer Nelson had some problems. So you have players.
Rondo was hurt.
Right.
Still nagging stuff.
It is nagging, but I'm saying that you have to balance that rotation. You have guys. You got Amir Osik back. Amir Osik is not a bum.
He's not giving you a lot though, man.
But
he's giving you a lot of energy.
You have to still play him.
That.
You still have to play him because he is your backup center. That'll give DeMarcus Cousins the rest. You have Cheik Diallo there. You have to be able to use Cheik Diallo, and just his defensive prowess and rebounding and finishing around the basket could help you. So you have players that for extended minutes a night, they're DMP'd for whatever reason. They're not injured. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just the coaches decide to DMP these guys.
The Diallo one is very perplexing to me because he's a young guy. He's gonna have a ton of energy. You want him out there if not for anything but defense and just another body to irritate people in the lane, man, and get rebounds and hustle plays. He can do all of that.
Exactly. I agree wholeheartedly with you. Let's focus on this. Let's go to the next matchup because they did play off against the face off against the Orlando Magic in a back-to-back between both of the Florida teams, and they did perform better against a injury devastated team who were without a lot of their key personnel. And the Pelicans took it to them. They beat them 111-97. They earned that. There's a couple of little news items on this one, a few giblets on this game. New Orleans earned a wire-to-wire victory, never trailing in this contest. They dominated this team from start to finish. Orlando was just 14 of 20 from the three-point range in that game, leading 74-66 with 3.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. New Orleans closed in that time frame on the 14-6 run to take a 16-point lead into the fourth quarter. The surge continued for the Pelicans, who outscored Orlando 17-6 to push their advantage to 27 points with 7 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in regulation. Holiday finished the game with 24 points, including the 14 points in the third quarter. The trio of Holiday, Cousins, and Anthony Davis finished with a combined 70 points on 29 of 45 shooting. That's for 64% from the field. And then the win marks the road win in Orlando for the first time. The win marks the first
4 years, right?
Yes, since 2012, snapping a 4-game losing streak against this Orlando Magic club.
4 year losing streak.
4 game. I'm sorry.
Stadium.
4 games.
It's only been 4 games.
4 games. They lost to them 4 games. I'm sorry. Now I say 4 years. Feel like it was longer than that. But 4-game losing streak to Orlando Magic dating back for a while. So as you know, they only play them twice a year. Anyway, 111-97 in this game. DC, what's your thoughts on this game? What do you think of what the Pelicans were able to do in this matchup?
Very impressive because we finally held the team under 100 points. That is the most impressive thing to me. Drew Holiday, Anthony Davis, and DeMarcus Cousins have all been playing very well the whole month of December. So I'm not surprised that the trio put up 70 points. If anything, I think the trio is actually rounding in the form, and they're giving us what they need to give us. We just need to cut down on turnovers and play team defense. So it is very inspiring for me to see them finally hold the team under 100 points, even though it's a banged-up Orlando team without their stars, but still, nonetheless.
Excellent. That's a magic point right there. And speaking about the Magic. Here are L. Gentry's comments on the Magic postgame.
The wire win tonight. What things stood out to you?
I thought we did a good job with the turnovers, number one, which didn't, compromise our defense very much at all. And then I thought we did a good job of moving the basketball and finding open people. And I liked the pace that we played at, and I thought our shot selection was really good.
Coach, did you get a full 48 minutes tonight? I know you've been seeking that.
Well, I think so. I thought defensively we were really good, for most of the game, and then obviously the last 5 minutes, there was a little bit of slippage and stuff, but that's to be expected. I just thought we played one of our better games as far as defensively and rebounding the basketball, and then I was just really happy with the way we played offensively. I thought DeMarcus did a great job of just finding open guys, and then AD did a good job of just reading the defense and coming up with a couple of easy baskets on lobs.
Those lineups to start the second and fourth quarter with Cousins and I think really four guys off the bench, they did really well for you. What did you see during that stretch?
Well, we were trying to rest guys as much as we could, and we tried to run our offense through DeMarcus. I thought he did a great job of picking times to go and try to score, and then creating double-team situations and finding open players. And I thought the guys did a good job of coming through.
Do you feel like you're in a little bit better shape for tomorrow night, having been able to rest Drew and AD a little bit more than usual?
Yeah. I think any time that you can hold them, low 30s, high 20s, that's really good. And I didn't think that there was a whole lot of banging and stuff that went on, so that was good also. And then Darius plays a lot of minutes for us, and we were able to keep him at 26. And Drew didn't play a ton of minutes, so I think anytime those guys are not in the high 30s like they usually are on a back-to-back situation, is better for us.
The Magic had a hard time getting over 40% for the game shooting-wise. They didn't shoot threes well either. What did you like about defensively specifically?
I thought we were solid. I thought we did a good job with dribble penetration, which has been a little bit of an issue with us. And then I thought we did a great job with our help defense, pulling in, taking away some of the easy rolls, some of the easy baskets. And then I thought we did a great job of challenging threes. We really did. AD was a little bit late on one three by most fakes, but other than that, I thought all the ones that they shot were challenged threes, and that's what we wanted.
Is that everything, Coach? A technique that you were able to tweak with more practice time in between games?
I don't know. I think what it is that it all depends on the type of shooter that the guy is. Does he have a quick release? Does he have a slower release? And the quick releases, we've got to make sure that we get out a lot quicker. And I think, the one that Spakes shot on the right side of the court, I think AD was just a split second late. But all the other ones was really challenged. And I thought as long as we do that, if they make them, they make them.
The Magic seemed like they tried to start by matching bigs for bigs, basically, and go with a little bit of a bigger lineup. But anytime Cousins got the ball up top key, it seemed like he was able to get to the rim with ease. Is that something that was just kind of the flow of the game, him getting that, or is that something you look for?
Well, I think he's very good at that, and especially when we can get the defense spread and then catch it and go. So I thought his decision making was great tonight on when to go and when to create shots for other guys. And then AD, I thought he did a great job of really just playing in the dunker spot.
Coach L. Gentry breaking it all down in the game against the Orlando Magic, in which the Pelicans were able to knock them off 111-97. And hopefully begin some winning for New Orleans as they will go the next game against the Miami Heat. Simmons finished the top dog for Orlando with 22 points. DeMarcus Cousins was the top dog with the Pelicans. We'll finish up with the Orlando Magic matchup on the other side of the break. You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. Stick with us.
Thank you for listening to the Pro Media Network, who provides hours and hours of free edutainment to you and yours. If you are benefiting positively from our content, please donate to help us grow our platform by going to www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. That's www.patreon.com/the Pro Media Network. And support the true independent artists.
What's up, world? This is DC from the Sports Coma. with Big Q and the guys. Have you ever been sitting in front of your computer screen, or in traffic, tired, lacking energy, feeling drained? Did you know there are electromagnetic fields or EMF waves all around you that cause this disease? Get it? Dis-ease? Luckily here at Posh Lifestyle, you can get your EMF protection. They have pendants, the shell-dyed bricks, cubes, and pyramids. Check out the poshlifestyle.com. That's life spelled with a Y. POSHLYFESTYLE.com for all your health needs. So get your mind and body right with a Posh Lifestyle.
Clear, clean, great-tasting filtered water. We're all thirsty for it. But in the U.S. alone, an estimated 2.5 million plastic bottles are added to the environment each year in search of the perfect drink of water. There has to be a better solution, and there is. Crystal Quest, a leader in the manufacturing of water filtration technology, has been providing clean, drinkable water for 20 years. Crystal Quest has been recognized by such leaders as Consumers Digest, Dr. Oz, and Colin Ingram's The Water Drinking Book, offering our customers the cleanest and most environmental-friendly drinking water at a rating of high purity. With Crystal Quest's water filtration technology, you can rest assured that your water will be crystal clear. Contact our network of authorized distributors and join our thousands of satisfied customers.
Just log into theposhlifestyle.com. Once again, that is theposhlifestyle.com.
Check out the Crown They Ass World podcast with three kings covering all the news and issues that affect you and the ones you care about. Only on the PRO Media Network.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma Pelican post-game report with Big Q and the guys, and we're basically covering the Orlando matchup with the Pelicans, in which the Pelicans were able to dominate this game for the most part. But before we get in put the finishing touches on that affair, the Pelicans, as me and DC was talking off break, we're talking about the Pelicans' depth position. Like we had the discussion earlier about them going 8 player rotations, overworking the big guys like Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, and the rest of the guys, overworking them. DMP and basically Omer Asik and Sheik Diallo, those guys are ready to contribute. Finally, Omer Asik is healthy and ready to play.
Because if you overworking people, man, sometimes on the defensive end, you're tired. You just don't have it.
Exactly. That's a great point. And that kind of segues us into the Pelicans. And we was talking about off break about how the Pelicans are the smallest team in the league outside of when you get away from their bigs. And you look at their wing guys, small. Everybody's small. Everybody's undersized. You look at guys like Etwan Moore, who's
we got a small forward position played by a 6'4" shooting guard, right?
A 6'3", 6'4" guy who's guarding the likes of the big guys every night. He gives them the production of his scoring ability.
I like Etwan Moore though.
I do. He's but you're asking a lot for Etwan to play that position because most of those guys he's guarding, those guys are 6'7" and bigger. So you got him guarding these guys, and these guys are 3 or 4 inches taller than he is, and he's at a severe mismatch in many cases. So, and then if you look at the bench for the Pelicans, it still kind of is the same thing because you still got Tony Allen, who's 6'4". Then you have Ian Clark, who's an undersized guard at 6'3". So where is the length when you look at the length at the two-way at the small forward or the three guard, the small forward position? Even at the power forward position, but 6'7", and then you kind of segue with
coming back, and that's
not good.
Saying a lot because if anybody has been listening to us when we talk about the Pelicans, man, I mean Solomon Hill is not someone we give any kind remarks to. So, but I actually think with the team we have now, we're gonna be an improved team with him back.
It most certainly because what he does bring defense to your lineup, and he's a bigger guy that can counterbalance when you have to play those bigger small forwards.
We cross our fingers on that and hopefully
perhaps. But that's the thing. We talk about the smaller guard, 6'3" guy like Ian Clark, 6'4" Tony Allen, who's playing out of position. Then you have guys like Dante Cunningham, who they play at small forward, but he's really better at the power forward position, which he's an undersized power forward, and then Cheek Diallo, who's undersized at the power forward position as well. So
got a lot of the same players. Man.
It's same players that these guys, and that's a mismatch, a hodgepodge of mixed match players that they're hoping to kind of gel and kind of work together. So it's going to be interesting. Putting a cap on this Pelican matchup against the Magic, DeMarcus Cousins, like we said, DeMarcus led the effort in terms of the scoring load. He finished with 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 6 assists on the game. Anthony Davis had 20 points, 11 rebounds in the affair. Drew Holiday finished with 24 in the major affair for them as well. So that was a good win. And perhaps you're looking for it, the back-to-back night game. The next game they played against the Miami Heat, and in the second part of the back-to-back matchup, and they were able to come into this matchup against Miami, looking to kind of do the same thing to what they did to the Orlando Magic from the previous night, and the fortunes were pretty good for them.
They did the exact same thing.
Exactly.
They held them to the same point total and everything. So I think that's a really good sign going forward. And you could see Orlando was a banged-up team, but the Magic, I mean, they pretty much had everybody minus Hassan Whiteside, which is a big piece.
Well, they didn't have Deion Waiters either, so they were missing quite a few pieces. Justin Winston wasn't there. Yeah, they was missing a couple of really of their core pieces that were out. Just like the Magic was missing a bunch of their really good pieces that could have made it interesting. Because remember, when they were healthy, when they faced off against the Pelicans early in the season, they took them apart in the Smoothie King Center.
They ran us out the building. Man.
Exactly, and that's with all of their pieces. So
we weren't the same team then, though.
No, you weren't. But if you were the same team, you would have been hard pressed to defeat a team that was shooting like that. So Orlando was able to, without the pieces, the Pelicans do what they're supposed to do. They beat these Midland teams without their top people. They were able to knock off Orlando. They did basically the same thing to Miami.
We played 3 more Midland teams, so we have a possibility to go on a five-game win streak. Maybe.
That you do. You have 3 very winnable upcoming games. And I remember one of my favorite articles or magazines, Pelican magazines I like to read, it's the Sports Daily Pelican Eye View. There was an article done where G. Balance, big ups to him. He was a guy that wrote a nice article about the potential for the Pelicans to put a string of wins together going into 2018, and he made a good article about why it's important for the Pelicans to kind of win right now, coming in with the new year, and the Bill At model speaking in the article, talking about how it's DeMarcus Cousins is a guy that's facing free agency, and Anthony Davis trade rumors, all those things are circulating around you when you're not winning, and the stress becomes unbearable. So the only way to back that down is to start winning some games against some very bad teams. So that's what they got lined up. Looking at the Miami Heat matchup, though, DC, 109-94, they were able to come into Miami and be able to take the Heat apart. Now, some information on that. New Orleans had 6 players in double figures. That's a very unique and odd thing. I don't think that happens very consistently, because 6 players in double figures for New Orleans. We'll give you those players in a little bit. The Pelicans finished the game shooting 53% from the field, including 60% from deep, which is excellent. 27 of the Pelicans' baskets came via assists. Once again, that's awesome. New Orleans scored 18 points off of 14 turnovers by the Heat. The Pelicans also had 14 turnovers, but only had 4 in the second half. So they shut lockdown and got serious. With the game tied at 38, New Orleans went on a 12-3 run to take a 9-point lead with 3:42 in the first half. Miami answered with a 12-6 run, cutting the Pelican advantage just 3 points at the break, holding a slim 64-62 lead with 7:27 remaining in the third quarter. New Orleans went on the offensive and took off with a 7-2 run that led to an 8-64 lead with 3 minutes and 26 seconds left in the frame. Miami would not cut the deficit less than 12 after that point, and New Orleans would push the lead to as many as 24 points. The win snaps a 2-game losing streak at Miami. So they snapped a 4-game losing streak at Orlando, and they snapped a 2-game losing streak at Miami. So 2 back-to-back wins by the Pelicans, and we'll play Coach Al Gentry's Miami post game. We also have Ian Clark. He'll chime in as well. DC, outside of that, I know you mentioned the thoughts, but in this game, them matched up against the Miami Heat. 6 people, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 Pelicans were in double figures for in this matchup against Miami, led by the sharp shooting of Ian Clark. 19 points from Ian Clark. He was 5 of 7 from downtown, 7 of 3 in 23 minutes. They finally gave him an opportunity to play, and he in extended minutes, he got into a rhythm, 19 points. 17 from Anthony Davis, who put in 17 and 6. Now, this is what I call, and I'm going to let you chime in, and after you chime in, I'll finish up the totals on the rest of these guys. But you got Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins, Drew Holiday, and Etuan Moore. All these guys score at the bigs, Anthony Davis and DeMarcus, scoring well below their averages, but it's an easy win, 109-94. These are the type of wins that you need to have against bad teams, where you can kind of rest your players, your bigs, your good players, right, when you're out on that road. Speak to the Pelicans able to dig in that bench a little bit and allow that balance to occur.
I think this was the best full team game that we've played and finished, because we had other games where they looked outstanding, but then they just collapsed at the end of the game. But this is the overall probably the best full team, all-around team game, as far as everybody getting involved and making the play. And everything just going smoothly, man. I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up better. We had the game won by the middle of the third quarter, and you were able to arrest a lot of your key people down the stretch for long periods of time. So it was amazing to be able to do that, and I think they're setting themselves up for success if they're able to do the same against the rest of these middling teams coming on down this schedule we got coming up with these next 3 to 4 games.
Absolutely. And after that, we're going to kind of dig. Let's play Al Gentry's post game to this Miami Heat game. Here's
They've shot the ball exceptionally well from 3. Especially the last few games, and I thought we did a good job of getting them off the lane, getting them off the line. And then I thought we did a good job of just offensively of finding the open guy. DeMarcus only took 7 shots. AD took less than 10, I think, and so we did a good job of forcing them to collapse their defense. And then I thought we did a good job of finding open people.
Coach, along those lines, your bench tonight was probably had its best night of the year. Ian Clark also had a season high. What was the impact of their play?
I thought they were the ones that really kind of did a good job of not only when we got separation, but I thought they did a good job of adding to the separation. So, but once again, I think we shot the ball well and we did a lot of good things, but I think the game was won on the defensive end of the floor, where we really locked in and did such a good job of forcing them into tough shots, really.
You mentioned before the game that definitely playing hard is something that's Miami. How you guys did in that area?
Yeah, no, I thought we had to match what they're a very determined team, and I thought we did a good job of matching their energy. We did a great job. They set a lot of screens and dribble handoffs and things that are real difficult to play, and I thought we did a great job of navigating the dribble handoffs and the screens and still being able to challenge shots. And I said, more so than anything, getting them off the 3-point line.
That's Coach Alvin Gentry timing on the way the Pelicans were able to get past the Miami Heat. When we come back on the other side of the break, got interviews from me and Clark. We're going to play. We're going to talk more about this Heat matchup. And then we're going to get into a preview of what the Pelicans can actually do as they face off against the Brooklyn Nets on Tuesday nights. Stay with us. You listen to the Sports Coma, Big Q and the guys.
Get the answers on the Saints, Pelicans, LSU and more. Only on the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Get all the latest news and updates from your New Orleans Pelicans at the Pelicans Eye View, the new and official Pelicans Daily Journal, covering everything Pelicans.
Attention, everyone.
Get breakdown on games, free agent signings and potential moves, unbiased opinions and straight up facts with statistical analysis from G Balance. Go to www.thesportsdaily.com/Pelicans-I-View.
Let me tell you about a news site that carries the news that you would want to know. News that's not the same as the rest of lamestream media, but a site that lets you know about the most important news on health, economics, tech, entertainment, science, food, sports, world news, positive living, paradigm shift, and a lot more. Go to theposhreportonline.co. That's right, theposhreportonline.co. Learn more. And remember, challenge everything.
In a world of corporate propaganda, support the true independence, telling it like it is with no teleprompter. Go to www.theposhlifestyle.com, life spelled Lyfe, and donate to keep independent media strong. Donate now.
Follow the Sports Coma on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
Welcome back to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And we're going in. This is our final segment, man, of a 2-hour podcast that we don't usually do 2-hour podcasts. But we covered a lot, man. The first hour, we covered the New Orleans Saints. The second hour, we got to our Pelican post-game report, which we recapped 3 Pelican games, of course, keeping you tuned and keeping you abreast of all the latest events on the Pelicans and the Saints as well. Also, in this segment, we're gonna finish up, hit you with Ian Clark's interview in a little bit. Then we're gonna go into the numbers on this Atlanta game. Then we'll preview the Brooklyn matchup and talk about are the Pelicans on the cusp of putting together a 4 or 5 game winning streak going into the new year that could potentially silence a lot of these disagreeable rumors about Anthony Davis in Boston or DeMarcus Cousins and Los Angeles Lakers and all this foolishness. Now is the time. Now is the time for the Pelicans. They got a soft schedule coming up. We got to put our foot to the proverbial foot on the gas pedal and push it all the way down to the floor. Let's get back into this game. DC, hearing what Coach Al Gentry said earlier past the break, where he talked about a lot of the things the team was able to execute moving forward. Looking at the Pelicans now, and I'm looking at the breakdown point-wise, Anthony Davis 17 points, DeMarcus Cousins 16 points in 29 minutes. Let me go back and repeat that. Anthony Davis 17 points, 6 rebounds in 32 minutes. DeMarcus Cousins 16 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists in 29 minutes. Jrue Holiday 13 points, 6 rebounds in 31 minutes. The reason why I'm making mention of the top 3 players' numbers, point-wise, in correlation to their minutes, is the fact that they didn't have to score the big amount of points to score in the high 20s, into the 30s, to get a team an opportunity to win. They actually had a balanced scoring load. 6 Pelicans were in double figures. Anthony Davis, DeMarcus Cousins, Jrue Holiday, E'Twaun Moore, 15 points. 12 points from Darius Miller off the bench. And, of course, Ian Clark off the bench. He had 19 points in the night. So this was
I almost thought they were San Antonio Spurs. That's what it looked like to me.
And this is the way that they need to beat these bad teams. Now, you stockpile the wins against these bad teams.
Any team, honestly, but you can't do that.
No, against San Antonio or against Houston or Boston.
San Antonio will do that against you. That's how they win.
Exactly. It's a team effort. They beat you as a team and as opposed to players.
Yeah, that's why they always up there.
Exactly.
That's gonna play with 5. We're gonna play with 12.
They playing, but that plays into the time the mind frame of the coaching staff is that we don't win as individual players. We win as a team. And that's what Greg Popovich is, why his message is so masterful, is because he buys into the team concept. Everybody gets an opportunity to get out there, play, and do what they got to do. Most coaches just put the game on the backs of their best players and just ride them until they fall out and hope that some of these bench guys can contribute. The Pelicans have been very poorly operating with 8-man rotations, which you will not be able to win in this league with. You've got to open that rotation up to at least 9 players. And I say they have enough players where they can go deep. You got Sheik Diallo that can get minutes. Dante Cunningham is not starting, but he played against Miami. He had 26 minutes, 5 points, 26 minutes. He played big minutes. He led the bench guys in minutes. 23 points for Ian Clark. He put up 16. Jameer Nelson put up 7 points in 21 minutes. Darius Miller scored 12 points in 21 minutes. And Sheik Diallo, despite the fact that they did get basically it was a 9-man rotation for the night with Dante Cunningham playing in at that reserve power forward spot when they needed them to get in there and play. Of course, Omer Asik did not play. He was DNP'd on the night. The only Pelican that didn't play was Omer Asik. But this is the thing. We have to be able to get 9 and 10 player rotations to be able to give those guys an opportunity to rest so they can be more effective and so they don't have to have all that beaten up. Because this year is yet to change, DC. Before January comes in, of course, we know February is the midway, but you want to compile wins right now and be fresh going into the new year to conserve yourself.
A little past the midway point once you get to that All-Star break, but you definitely need to do that, and you have to have everybody on your team clicking and contributing by that point, man. You should be playing your best basketball at that time of the season.
Absolutely. And let's go into Ian Clark. He's the last interview that we have tonight. Ian Clark led the game with 19 points off the bench with 23 minutes, 7-11 shooting from the field, 5 of 7 from downtown. Here's Mr. Ian Clark.
We're just moving the ball. It's how the game was flowing. I think we were starting to get stops and running. We really want to learn a lot of offense. It was just more ball moving and guys being in the right position. And we just find an open guy and just making shots.
One thing that Coach talked about after the game was that he just respects the fact that, sometimes your playing time is sporadically leaning up and down, but you were able to go into a situation like that and just make a huge impact in the game. What's your approach?
It's kind of, I've been in similar situations throughout my career, being able to just be ready when my number's called. And then go out and try to help the team any way possible. And like you said, it's been up and down. But today was one of the days where it was up, and I want to be ready to go out and play, and I did that.
What does it say for the way you guys are playing the last 2 nights to be able to not only win back-to-back road games, but make both games work double digits and pretty handily both wins?
It's good for us, especially going to the break. Obviously, we want to keep it rolling after, make sure we don't have any slippage. But for us, it's building blocks, and we know that. It's coming down the stretch where, especially when we get back from Christmas and the New Year, we got to start buckling in and have a foundation so we can, leading up to All-Star, and then after All-Star, getting ready to make a playoff push.
Did you feel like this was kind of the best, one of the best overall games as far as like you had 8 or 9 guys all had big nights, and it just seemed like everybody was involved at a good level?
Yeah, I think so. And we can have games like this where we move the ball, we share the ball, and everybody's contributing, and we have large leads. But like you said, I think it starts on the defensive end. That third quarter, we kind of locked in and got 3 or 4 or 5 stops straight, and went and capitalized on the other end.
Your best scoring game of the season, you obviously got on a huge roll in the second half. What did you see?
That's Ian Clark. Defense. Well, most people believe defense creates offense. And a few really good championship teams believe in that. San Antonio is one of them, although they can bring up the offense whenever they want. But this was an excellent example of how the Pelicans should be looking to kind of build their momentum. Of course, that confidence is getting up there. They win 2 in a row. And more importantly, they finished that 4-game stretch on the road by going 2-2. They start on a 2-game winning streak. They are now facing some very easy teams. And when I say easy, I don't mean to say that it's just going to be a walk in the park. But they're facing some really struggling teams. The Brooklyn Nets are the first of those struggling teams as the Pelicans come home to face come home for 3 games, 3 home games against the Brooklyn Nets, the Dallas Mavericks, and of course the New York Knickerbockers, who are better than 2 games above 500 right now. Same and kind of struggling too. They look terrible on Christmas against the Philadelphia 76ers. But of course we know they struggle shooting a 3. They struggled mightily in that game. They are going to be a difficult team to match up with their bigs, their bigs and our bigs. It'll be interesting. Anyway, not to get too far ahead. The Nets are the next guy on the totem pole that we have to chop down to continue to build up on that winning streak, this is a very doable game. DC, I don't know if any part did the Pelicans so far in the season won 3 games in a row? Not yet, have they? Have they won 3 in a row?
I don't think we had a 3-game
okay, so this will be excellent because
uncharted territory right here.
Yes, this will be excellent for them to get 4 games above
That's
500.
That's why we a Midland team, because I do believe we had a 2-game winning streak, a few of those, and they win a game, lose a game, win a couple of games, lose a couple of games.
Well, let's get into this. Let's preview this Brooklyn Nets matchup. We have about 4 minutes left to go in the show before we end it. They take on the Brooklyn Nets. In one game against Brooklyn last season, Anthony Davis scored 22 points on 58% shooting. He had 9 rebounds in that game. In 2 games against Brooklyn last season, Drew Holiday averaged 16.5 points while shooting 62%, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and 6 assists and 4 rebounds in that game. In one game against Brooklyn last season, as a member of Sacramento Kings, DeMarcus Cousins recorded 37 points on 54% shooting. He had 80% from deep and 11 rebounds in that game as well. In 2 games against New Orleans last season as a member of the Lakers, D'Angelo Russell averaged 19 points. Of course, Russell is the top player on that team.
He's injured right now, though.
Right, so 19 points he averaged. We'll probably end up missing him. Brooklyn had 143 points on last year, January the 20th of 2017. This year, is the second most points scored by opponent in the franchise history. Brooklyn did it to us early in last season. Elvin Gentry is 11-13 all time against the Nets. Brooklyn Kenny's Atson's 1-1 against the New Orleans. So Elvin Gentry seems to be has a losing record against everybody. DC, we're looking at this game, and
he said, "I've been fired just about from half the league."
yeah.
I guess that's why, right?
Right, and if you don't watch yourself, that'll be another one. So this is the game. We I don't see any injuries. Brooklyn Nets haven't updated the injury report as of yet, and according to the information I'm looking at. But Brooklyn averages 107 points a game while giving up 110. That'll explain the fact that they're 12-20. They're 5-10 on the road. The Pelicans, the Pelicans average 110.6, give up 110.8, 48, almost 49% shooting on the year, 43%, 43% rebounding. That they do 26.5 assists. Pelicans looking good. Last 5 games they're 5-5. The Brooklyn Nets are 4-6 the last 10 contests. Like we said, Brooklyn's 12-20, 5-10 away. Pelicans sitting at 17-6, 8-7. Any predictions on this game, DC? What happens?
I think the Pelicans take this one, man. It's a game, a gimme game. This is a game you're supposed to win. If you want to be a playoff caliber team, you can't lose to Brooklyn, especially in the situation we're in, being kind of middle of the pack right now in our record. And you get a game like this. This reminds me of the Sacramento game all over again. So if guys are really upset and distraught over that Sacramento loss, well, you're supposed to beat a team like that, you can't allow the same thing to happen with the Brooklyn Nets.
You're absolutely correct, my man. You cannot lose to the Brooklyn Nets at home. If you lose to the Brooklyn Nets, the rumors will increase. I mean, you're not good enough to beat a Midland, a very bad team, probably one of the worst teams in the NBA in Brooklyn. If you can't beat them at home, I just don't know what to say about you. I mean, you got to take this one. You got to win this game. So I would have to amen that too. I would agree with you. But this is an easy pick. Pelicans win this game in similar fashion to how they beat Miami and Orlando. I think that continues. And continues on as they'll climb to 18-16, 2 games above 500. And hopefully they can finish out the string by beating Dallas and New York, which will preview Brooklyn Nets game they play on the 27th, I think it is, in the Smoothie King Center. So that'll be the next game. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us today on the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys in the Pelican Post-Game Report. This has been a 2-hour podcast. We hope you share this with your family, your friends. Remember to donate to our Patreon page if you like our show and enjoy our stuff. Go to patreon.com. It's in the comment section. You can find it there. Donate and help us out. From Big Q and DC. Peace.
Peace out.
You're listening to the PRO Media Network. The next level in entertainment.
Forget ESPN or Fox. Get straight sports talk from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
What up, sports world? This is Big Q from the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys. And I'm here to tell you about the website, theposhlifestyle.com. The Posh, P-O-S-H, life spell with a Y-L-Y-F-E style.com. You can go there and get all of your natural and organic needs met. Herbs and supplements for all over the body, healing crystals, beautiful jewelry, ionizers, alkalizers, and water filters to take all of the fluoride and chlorine and all of the filth out of your water. They got personal products, natural soaps. They even got deodorant without aluminum in it that is known to cause cancer. Dig that. Also books and entertainment to educate yourself. And they have a lot of EMF protection and healing magnetics. Now, you know EMF, that helps. They have diodes you can place on your phone or on certain electrical gadgets that can neutralize the harmful EMF radiation. Dig that. All of that is on sale at theposhlifestyle.com. Dozens of products, easy to use website. I use it all the time. Very easy to use and very safe. Protected website. You can go there, feel safe and shop. I shop there all the time. You can go there and give us a donation. Anyway, go check them out. The Posh Lifestyle. Go to theposhlifestyle.com. Check them out. Poshlifestyle.com. Check them out. Get your mind and body right with the Posh Lifestyle.